Hey, good morning, JJ.
Good morning. Good
Hey,
morning.
welcome to season 3, episode 18. What about Bob?
Bob. Oh, this
Looks
will be a
like
fun
it's a
a
fun one.
fun episode. I'm excited about the show.
Yeah. We had such a good show last week. Okay, that was
I
so fun with the
know.
hobbies. Anybody here who didn't watch it, you got to go back and watch it. It was
Gotta go
awesome.
back. Yeah. I thought it
Yeah.
was especially your music and just
Oh,
to be able to see the craftsmanship of the flute
of the flute.
is worthy of a revisit. If
Oh,
you
I'd love to bring it. Yeah, and I also play the traditional Hawaiian nose flute, where you play with the nose.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
never
So
even seen that. I mean, I've
yeah.
never seen anybody do that. So yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
music was so awesome. Oh, thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. I love sharing the music. Yeah, well, so I'll have to do another episode with, I'll bring some flutes and instruments and that'll be fun.
That'll be fun. Maybe
Yeah,
one of our themes is one for the week. Is it music? Is music one of the themes?
at some point. I didn't see it on there. I don't think so. Not sure.
Ron,
We can integrate it somewhere.
we can integrate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, how are
Yeah,
you doing?
doing good. Had a good week.
Yeah.
Like immense fog here in Vancouver. Holy cow.
Is it? Is
Oh
it?
my, it's like thick fog, like black. It's like you don't see anything. Like when I was driving to the ferry from the city yesterday, usually there's this big mall, Tsawwassen Mills, right? And so usually you see it from miles away. The only moment I saw it was when I was directly beside it, and it was just a fog of a little bit of light. That's how thick the fog was. Just incredible. Never seen fog like that before.
You
Yeah.
know, we're gearing up for. I was in Indiana last weekend, and then through Monday for the championship game.
Oh right, I forgot that's what
But it was freezing there. I mean, we're used to, like cold for us is in South Carolina. It's like mid-30s.
Yeah, I remember you were saying you're going to look in the cupboard last week when we finished.
Yeah, it was like -5 or whatever in Indiana. It was cold, and now I came back, and it is it's dipping down. We're supposed to have a huge winter ice storm.
No way.
We're just not equipped. Like here, it's just
Wow.
we don't have the right,
Everything is snow. Why would
it
you?
just closes, yeah.
Yeah.
And we get ice on the lines and the trees, and so it's not about snow, it's about the ice that accumulates, and then it either breaks trees onto power lines or power lines themselves.
Yes.
And so so they're expecting just
And
be
the
ready
roads.
for power outages and stuff, and
Wow.
like our roads just don't get cleared. We're just not equipped.
Wow. Yesterday I saw like 3 different videos in Pennsylvania where there was a sudden storm and the road turned to ice.
Yeah, it is.
Cars were literally tobogganing down hills and crashing into the cars at the bottom.
Yeah.
That was like nothing I've ever
crazy.
seen.
And Pennsylvania is equipped for that stuff. Like we just don't have the infrastructure for.
Okay, they're equipped for that. Okay.
Yeah, and even they and that stuff happens because you can't get to it in time. Like we don't even have that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Farewell through it.
Yeah, it's just you stock up and you get
used
to your camp stove, and you kind of camp out in your house for a couple of days.
Yeah, I remember
a lot of people have already booked their hotel rooms if they don't have which I think is like, really? I mean, we don't have a generator either. We just kind of live with candles and blankets and fireplaces or whatever. But yeah, I have friends that have already booked their stay over the weekend.
Wow, that's incredible.
And hotels that have generators will have, hot water and all that.
Wow. Yeah, we're used to power outages here. We have 5 or 6 of them every season. And the worst season was, I think it was like 5-6 years ago, 9 days. And we're snowed in too. So we were melting snow, taking it to the creek. I actually even baked cinnamon buns in our wood stove. Go figure. I figured it out.
So you're ready. Yeah.
We just camped out. My husband and we just camped out in the living room with a fireplace and stayed warm here. And but it's quite a journey.
Yeah. The last time that I think the biggest power outage we had was when the Hurricane Helene came in last year.
Mm.
We were out without power for 10 days.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was we just camped in the house.
Yeah. That's a real staycation.
Yeah, vacation, load your bathtubs with water, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Wow.
it's an adventure.
Yeah, and in back east where I'm from, Ontario, they've had massive snow and Arctic cold is coming in now.
Yeah, I can't. My body just, I'm ill-equipped. Like my southern bones, they can't.
Right? Yeah, the cold probably goes right in, presses right
Oh
in.
my God, it's
Right.
yeah. I'm wearing. I don't think I took off my hat once when I was in Indiana.
Yeah,
Like,
that's where we got to insulate. Got to keep the hat on.
keep it insulated.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh,
Well, I'm looking forward to our show today.
I
And I'm
am too.
so you're going to be leading us on Bob Jones Art.
Oh,
Who is
yes.
that? What is that all about? I'm curious.
Well, so I don't know if you know the history of. So there's a university called Bob Jones University. It is based here in Greenville, South Carolina. It was started by Bob Jones Sr. back in the 40s or 50s, and since then, then Bob Jones Jr. took over as president or chancellor, and then Bob Jones the Third, and then
wow, it's like a whole.
so it's been like but it's a fundamentalist university. So it's a so if you in the religious Christianity, the religious kind of sector, you've got Catholics, and then the Protestant movement, Anglican, you've got Methodist, Presbyterian, Baptist, blah blah blah, and so on. And now what has, I think, impacted our country the most has been these non-denominational churches, which is really they if you kind of dig further, they're coming from more of the fundamentalist, but it's a university that's a very, I would say, private school that is a religious school, but the fundamentalist theology is ones that take scripture literally.
Oh, okay.
Right. So that's, and they are, so they are, in their history with, and the reason I'm going to bring up the Catholic is a lot of people, because of the movement that Bob Jones did, and, he was very much fueled like the Billy Graham fundamentalist, kind of like I think it's anti-Christian because it's, even though they are march on a platform of Christianity, their language is more of they weaponize scripture.
Oh, wow.
Because they take it literally.
It's kind of the opposite of what it was meant to be.
Yeah. So anyway, and back in like the 50s and 60s and 70s, they had a movement that was that Catholics were not Christian, that their Christianity and Catholics, that it was a separate, they weren't a part of the same Christianity framework. So
something I've never understood since I was
and that's why they kind of get
God is God. Like there's the same creator of creation, however way we're doing, right?
And also to look at theology of there are 200 different Christian brands. Let's just call them brands for that, method. There's 2,000 articulations or interpretations of the Bible. And so, and the way I look at it, it's like you kind of have separated out. You've got more that fundamentalist of literal, but it's also, but they do that because it's fear-based, right? That's their theology. How do we use scripture to control?
Yes.
How do we use scripture to create fear that you're doing something wrong?
Yeah.
That's that movement, right?
Which, if I can say it, is so odd because Jesus says in the Bible 369 times, fear not.
Right. Right.
So it's like that is the most pronounced message he put in his
right.
book.
So you can always tell. I call it
Not.
the false platforms. Is anytime somebody has like I call it, you know, I'm a lover of Jesus in their social bio or Christian dad, and their actions are and their words are hypocritical to,
Right.
you know, that it is, you know, you can kind of tell through the telltale that they have been brought up in some kind of fear-based theology, control-based theology, the literal, fundamental, like literal interpretation. I mean, it's like, so Bob Jones University has had the reputation of like the rules of, well, the Bible says that's how they use it, but it might be a story inside the Bible of like King Solomon. King Solomon didn't like, you know, women should not wear pants or what, or that, you know, well, so the Bible said it. Well, wasn't the Bible like it wasn't Jesus' teaching. It was a story in that, but it's a literal.
It was a preference, not a truth.
So they have a lot of rules on the university of like, I mean, literally in the last like just few years, they have lifted the women can wear pants on campus, but they had sidewalks that were gender sidewalks, like women, you know, girls and boys had to walk on different sidewalks. You know, girls had to wear skirts to their ankles and pantyhose. V-necks were not allowed because they're also a, you know, this is a theology and a teaching that it, you know, women, it is your fault if, you know, because you wore a V-neck shirt, you were asking to be raped.
Oh my God.
Which there was a whole thing. There was a whole study that came out in 2014. It's called the Grace Report, if anybody wants to look it up. But it's called GRACE, the Grace Report. That was the study on decades of abuse within the fundamentalist churches that are all kind of, that grew up out of the Bob Jones University kind of sector, but it's that you know, inside of churches where whether it's rape, incest, molestation of children, that it was deemed that was acceptable because it was the girl maybe showed her knee at 8 years old. So it's not the man's fault. It's always the woman's fault. And so it was kind of they had systematized and institutionalized that, and you see that today whenever somebody, like a woman, well, where was she? What was she wearing? What did she do? Versus questions should always be reflected of, like, we need to break that down. It's not the girl should have said something. They should have said no or whatever. We need to teach our girls better. And the conversation should be, no, we need to teach our boys better. Absolutely. We need to teach that entitlement and accountability that they're, you know, we need to change our systems. But anyway.
Yeah, no, we could go on with that one. We could go on for like a long time on that one.
So Bob Jones, Senior, and there's a museum called the Bob Jones Museum. It has the largest collection of Catholic art outside of the Vatican.
Wow, that's
right here in Greenville. So it's just interesting of they created an anti-Catholic movement,
and yet they have the Catholic art there.
And yet they have the largest, I mean, and so outside of the Vatican, it is the largest collection of Catholic and religious art, not just but religious art, Christian art. Some of the oldest stuff that exists here, right here, and it's amazing. To look at what the artwork is, and it's because Bob Jones Sr., and again, you just see the hypocrisy, right? Yeah. Bob Jones, the senior, he's the one that started the university. He had this contentment for Catholics that that's why he started collecting the art.
Hmm. Bizarre.
And he had like, I mean, he went out on like an anti-pope rage in like the 50s and 60s. I mean, it was just, but he started collecting. So it's like 1,300 pieces of the most like historic art,
Wow.
like old
Wow.
art. So it is wonderful that it's here. I just think it's, you know, the hypocrisy of it, of that how it's the history of the art museum.
Yeah. Yeah. And just I mean, hypocrisy is a natural thing in life, right? It
Right.
happens, right? But it's a matter of being aware of it. And then when we become aware of it, it's like, okay, well, wait a second, that doesn't really match.
Right.
So let me, you know, that's not really like, especially with the Bible or Jesus's teachings.
No,
Right?
no, it's such the opposite of it.
Everybody.
He weaponized it. He weaponized the Bible still, you know, and the university still does.
Yeah.
There's good, like I have friends that went to that university and they're, you know, it's like you can't judge that's just because that's how they were brought up, they were raised. It's a one of the I have some of the best art directors and stuff that came from that. That's a great school, great teaching, but you can tell the people that come out of it really had to know themselves, know their values, really kind of shed that as they got older, really kind of their curiosity had to take over to go, yes, this is what was preached to me, but you know, I can ask questions now that I'm an adult and do my own thinking and my own studying of history. And so, yeah, you know, kind of take that personal accountability. But some of the art, so let me just read you some of the artwork that is it's because it's a wonderful museum. Like it is.
Yeah.
I'm married to a Catholic, so you know, we have I'm Episcopalian, but I'm married to a Catholic, so our household is a duo household. So we going through the museum is wonderful, but they have the Madonna and Child with the Saint Bernard and Saint Catherine of Siena that you see like in, you know, history and stuff, but you know, they have all sorts of paintings of St. Luke and St. Christopher that doesn't exist anywhere else but here. They have the Madonna with, like I said, the Madonna with Child. They have St. Anthony and the was it the Padua. So I mean, they have like iconic
work. Yeah.
Work. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, duality and paradox is everywhere, right? It's just a matter of finding out how do we bring the balance to that when we find ourselves in the contrast like that. And sometimes we don't, right? It's the human journey, human experience.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just but it's a little, I know we're on topic of museum, but I thought it was it's an unknown little gem that we have.
Beautiful.
But I just like to talk about the history a little bit, the background, give context of how odd that this university and that the Bob Jones family would have such rich and a deep collection. But the fact that it was Stephen Jones, which was the great grandson of the Bob Jones Sr. He's the one that said we need to share this artwork with the world, and he's the one that founded the museum, and his wife is the curator, and said, you know, this and kind of revealed a little bit about his family, and said, you know, maybe we've got to stop some of these barriers.
Right. And in a way, there's a beauty that the art still stayed alive in spite of everything, right? There's a beauty to that too, right? That part.
Because he could have collected it and not kept it.
Yeah, he could have burned it. He could have destroyed it, right? So there was still appreciation. So that's beautiful. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
There's my museum story.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That was really, really intriguing. right? Because I mean, I know it's about museum, but every topic when we engage, we can see like broader perspectives that relate to humanity and to ourselves individually,
Right.
everything like that. And so it's just it was a beautiful story. Thank you for
Well,
sharing.
thank you. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to let you guys know where you can watch us other than where you're watching us now. So you can watch us live on YouTube, Rumble, Kick at Rhode Island Broadcasting, Twitch at RI_broadcasting, X Twitter at Broadcasting RI. And you can listen to us by audio at Red Circle, Spotify, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio at RI Broadcasting. And then you can follow our social media, which Facebook, please go there and like us right now so we can broadcast there.
We need to get our page back.
We gotta get, yeah, we were at 27 last week, so we got to get that number up to 100.
Oh,
So anybody watching, please, give us a boost there. Help us to get to the 100 there. So on social media, it's Blue Sky, MeWe, Parlor, Gab, LinkedIn, and Space. Hey, I love that. I always like bringing Becky in there.
Hey,
Hey.
Gab, that's a new one. I've never heard of that one. Ron, he like pulls these out of nowhere.
and that's at RI Broadcasting. Yeah. And please again, follow us on Facebook, and then at our website it is RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net, and there you can see all of the shows, anything that you've missed, anything you're curious about, like the one we had last week, which was really awesome on hobbies. You can find it there. Yeah. And so I'm going to share about a museum. I just found out about this actually just last week, so it was perfect timing. The British Museum is honoring the Hawaiian culture from January 15th until I think it's February 15th, something like that. Yeah, and so they are bringing not just what I've read about it, it's also curated by Hawaiians. So it's not just like the stories of the Western people defining Hawaii. It's the Hawaiians sharing as well. And the exhibition is with Hawaiian language in it as well. They have a huge statue, ku, a warrior statue that people have to walk under, and then they have the chanting music playing. So they're creating a real cultural experience there. And I thought I'd share some fun facts too about it. I was reading a lot of different things about it. And so the exhibition brings together about 150 different objects. And one of the main ones that they're celebrating is a cape, like a almost like a poncho made out of feathers.
Ooh.
Yeah, and that's really, really stunning. I saw a picture of it. It's red and yellow, and it's really, really beautiful. And I have some information here on that. So these were volcano rocks. No, there's no volcano rocks. Yeah, so they're going to have letters and objects from the Hawaiian rulers like King Lili'olio, reflecting sovereignty and global presence. They're going to have lots of contemporary Hawaiian native art, showing that this is not a past tense culture, that it's living, breathing, and evolving, which I like that. And it's not just a history lesson. They're defining it. They're saying it's a spiritual encounter, because they're gonna feel this towering statue of Ku when they walk in, and the featherwork of that cape, which is stunning to look at. You can look it up online. Yeah, and they're going to be honoring some of the ancestral knowledge, cosmologies, the gods, the chants, the rituals, the tools, and they're outlining the visit of the royals to the UK in the 1800s. So they went to the UK with their outrigger canoes, and they went to the UK to ask for support and help. Any don't do? Yeah, and so that was really incredible to find out that they were actually in England at that time. And one of the things that I love about the Hawaiians is they're navigators or wayfinders, and they didn't have any tools except for deep connection to the waters to sense the waves, to sense the direction and the swells that would come, and then also through the stars. So that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
In the 1800s to navigate across to the UK just by stars and just by awareness and presence that helps read read the waters and read the environment. I thought this was really incredible.
That is cool. I'm going to Hawaii for the first time
Oh,
next month.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'm visiting a girlfriend of mine that has lived out there for about 15 years. So it's my first trip. I'm super excited.
Oh, you're going to love it. It's such a beautiful place. And, I found Hawaii after many years of traveling and getting, gathering different knowledge and wisdom to help me understand my own self and my life and things like that. And when I found Hawaii, I found home.
Yeah.
They have such a beautiful system of observation and thought. Like one of my favorite things I said, this is my place.
Yeah.
One of their principles is all wisdom does not come from one school. So they carry that in their culture. They don't say we have the knowledge, nobody else has it. It's us, right? They say no, all wisdom does not come from one school. So they embrace anywhere where wisdom comes in that grows love, that grows connection with life, then that's like, okay, then go for it, right? And they even, like even in the Lomi Lomi, the modern Lomi Lomi, they've integrated different kinds of Swedish massage in there as well because it works.
Right.
So they're kind of like, if it works, if it brings you into alignment with, God, which they don't have a word, there's a kua, which is the active force, then go for it. Right. Yeah. So you're going to experience just this incredible unity. Like they are the masters of inclusion
Right.
and diversity. Right. And I was thinking to share just a little story about this because they're such an open people and they've always have been. My first experience with a kahuna elder, I was being initiated with a small group of students on the beach. And all of a sudden this drunk guy walks in the center of our circle. And I was like, I wonder what he's going to do. Because I've been in many spiritual circles and things like that. And usually when somebody just interrupts, they're like, people get upset or they bring him out of the circle or something like that. And this one, Kimokeo, he stood up, he put his arm around him. He says, "Hey, brother, how you doing? What you need?" And I was like, yes. I was like, yes, that is the way, right? So there was no exclusion, right? And so that just gives a little insight to the quality of the soul.
How they work. Do they do lays when you arrive?
They don't do that anymore, but you can buy a lei at the airport, or if a friend greets you, they will greet you with a lei.
Do a lei.
Yeah.
And yes, Ron, you need to do a top 5 Hawaiians.
Oh yeah, that would be great.
That would be a great list.
Yeah, that would be awesome. And some of the Hawaiian music too is really beautiful. So going back to the museum, just bringing in the feeling of the Hawaiian culture, right? So the gallery is going to include a lot of collaboration with local from Hawaii, native experts and artists. So it's not someone else telling their story, which I like too.
Yeah.
Very, very beautiful thing that they're gonna share their story, how it was, and the what's that? How is better? Oh, I missed that. Ron was saying something there. Right. Yeah. So that was my little bit on the museum in Hawaii and in the UK that is open now. Go see it if you're in the UK. If you happen to be watching this in the UK.
Yeah.
It's going to be really epic, very beautiful, and honoring the connection between Europe and the former royalty of Hawaii. Yeah.
Ron, better Midler.
Better Midler. I should top Hawaiians. What a great list. Okay. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. And so we're going to lead into you again.
Oh.
To do your Hoosier and Hoosiers too.
So yeah, I'm just going to go. Congratulations to the Indiana Hoosiers that they won the national football, the NCAA college football. But it's a Cinderella story, Luannah. You would, because we were Indiana University has never been known as a football school. We were always known as a basketball school. If you, Ron can probably chime in on some of the college sports, but we were always with Bob Knight. We were, an undefeated team. And it's still we still hold the record of the undefeated team from 1976 in basketball, and then winning the national NCAA tournament for basketball. Still to this day, that remains an historic milestone that no one has beat.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana was we're an old university. We're from 1820, and we have the largest alumni base in the country. So we have over 850,000 living alumni. Mm-hmm. But the most losingest football school, like in the history of football. The worst team. Mm-hmm. And they've tried, like we've had some almost like, oh, we're going to get our program. Oh, we get the momentum, but it's still been until they hired a coach a couple years ago. His name was Coach Signetti. Mm-hmm. We'll call him, Coach Sig is his. And so even like fans were making like little like fake cigarettes, little earrings for like cigs. Oh, that's so cool. But he is, and it's interesting, Bob Knight was the coach that was kind of iconic of having the most winning team for basketball in college sports. But Coach Signetti has similar leadership traits and styles, very disciplined, very smart, kind of nerdy when it comes to the game, but creates like routines for his team, very high standards. And if you break those standards, you're off. There's no, so the players, there's the ego, the humility, and that's how he chose the team. So in just 2 years that he's been, like, he literally took a losing program, and he talks about it. He's like turning it inside out. He goes, I walked the halls. He was like, we had the administration, the staff, they were in desks and offices that were decorated from 1982. And he was like, you guys said that you wanted to be a winning team. Well, act like it. He was like, we need to care about our surroundings. We need to bring more discipline. We need to think like winners. We need to, so his whole philosophy. But yeah, they won. It was a Cinderella. It was tough, very tough. The quarterback won the Heisman Trophy this year, which is basically you're chosen out of all the players. You're like the best player. Wow. And so they become first draft. And they're first draft chosen typically, but his name is Fernando Mendoza. Just a great story of, so they played in Monday night, Miami University in Miami, was where they played. So it was like the home team. Well, I will tell you, Hoosiers, because we've never been there before, we were 70% of the fans. So even though it was, we dominated, like it was exciting to watch just at like the Rumble. But Fernando Mendoza is from Miami. He went to high school in Miami.
So he was on home turf.
That was his home team. That's where he's from. But he tried to be a walk-on. In Miami University, they wouldn't even give him the time of day. Okay. So he then went to Cal Berkeley and then played a year or two there. And that's what got the attention of Coach Signetti, who then recruited him to Indiana. His brother also plays for the team. So and his brother's the backup quarterback. And his name is Alberto. So it's just fun. The theme songs for whenever they play is the ABBA, Fernando,
Oh, that's awesome.
And then it's like another ABBA song with Alberto in it. So those, whenever they come onto the field, that's what plays in the stadium. So it's just a lot of fun.
So fun.
But even when Fernando, when he wanted to be traded, right, he started to get good numbers. They call it, he entered, put himself into the transfer portal. That's how the college sports is now, how you recruit, how do you build your teams. But he also pitched, and his agent, and parents called Miami, because his dad played for Miami too. So you have like then so he's like, I really want to come back. And they didn't want to give him, again, the time of day. So here he comes in, and 2 years later, he's playing against not just his hometown, but against the team that basically shrugged him off as not good enough.
Oh, that's victory.
Not just once, but twice.
Oh man, that's awesome.
And yeah, it was history, like complete history. It was wonderful. And so if you're also a movie buff, so we call it the Cinderella story because we think that there needs to be another movie. So Hoosiers is an iconic movie. Gene Hackman played in it.
Oh, cool.
If you remember, I don't know if you know of that movie or if you've heard of that movie.
Oh, no.
I know Ron knows the movie Hoosiers, but it's another story of, and it's based on a true story of a coach taking going into a teeny tiny town in Indiana and in high school, and then turning a program around and elevating kind of a high school basketball team that wins the state championships.
Wow.
So there's it's in the graphics. And so there's been a lot of talk of there should be a Hoosiers 2 being made. I've even been saying it all over my social channel of like, let me cast. I want Kevin Costner to play Coach Signetti.
Gotcha. Yeah, he would play that role probably good.
He would play that
I've
well.
seen the title. I've seen the movie title, but I've never watched it.
But to talk about like just very similar, like even Gene Hackman and the coach that he played, the story he played was all about very, through lines of themes of discipline, routines, showing up, consistency, right? Not that hypocrisy of, hey, if I say these are the rules, and I'm going to hold you to them.
Yeah.
Take responsibility, create motivation and inspiration, but also these coaches are great empathizers with their players and coach from the heart, not just the mind, but they coach from the heart. So there's a lot of themes between Hoosiers, the real story of the movie and how that brought to life, and then this the Coach Signetti story and Fernando Mendoza. And it's just so sweet, Luannah. You would just love this family. I mean, they're a family. They are from Cuba. They're Cuban immigrants that live in Miami. The mom has multiple sclerosis, where she can no longer walk. She's not mobile. She's in a wheelchair. And they have, they have 2 younger brothers that are one's in elementary. So there's 4 boys that 2 now on the football team, 2 younger. And they come to every game and they cheer. But the dad, like you can tell, he cheers and he jumps up, but immediately he cheers next to her, never leaves her side, and cheers from sitting with her. Like side by side. But if you listen to like Mendoza's speech when he won the Heisman Trophy, he is a kid. He doesn't cuss. That was like the whole joke. Like he always says, like, instead of Jesus Christ, he's like cheese and crackers, or like or cheese. So he's very he's like a PR dream. If you had to. But he just, he praises God. He says, everybody has their why. He was like, my why is my mom.
Beautiful.
It's just a good kid, and very humble. But he's like the discipline of, and he's taught these just things from Coach Signetti of reinforcing those after every game. He goes over and he handshakes the opposite team's quarterback, the opposite team's coach. The team gives them hugs, gives them words of
encouragement,
and so he's just a really good human and inspiration. But yeah,
he's playing for the game.
Oh, and he's a nerd too. That's the thing. It's like that's what Coach Signetti said, that what he admired, why he recruited Mendoza, is that he plays like he has the lion. He has the lion's heart, where and he's a football nerd just like him. Like, he was like, I see him. He knows the game. He's a nerd about it, but he also has a warrior spirit and a competitive spirit, but it's all love for the game.
Right. Beautiful.
And so, yeah. And that's why he goes, I'm not looking at like full stat. He goes, I'm looking at the whole person of who's coming on this team.
So
and he was like, and there's traits that it's not just about, it's more about attitude. And that's how Bobby Knight recruited. It was, it's not about just the stats. It's about who you are.
Exactly. Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's a really
it's great. So yeah, I hope they make a movie out of it, because I think it'll be it's a great Cinderella story, but the characters involved make great stories and should be elevated. Yeah.
And great inspiration for all of us. Because those qualities, those attributes apply for all of us if we want to have a fulfilling life.
Great leadership themes. Like, I write post each week about lessons in leadership, how to show up as a leader, my own journey as I've kind of found my style and really found my voice to talk more confidently about my style and how I lead. But the themes are definitely of Coach Signetti you could study him as a masterclass of leadership. Yeah, it's
wow.
Good stories.
That sounds great. I love sports movies like that. I love any kind of Cinderella story, but especially the sports ones, because sports metaphors apply everywhere.
Yeah, that's right. And Ron, you'd love my T-shirt that I got that I didn't have. I had it on yesterday. It was Who's Your Daddy?
Who's your daddy?
Who's your daddy? Yeah, it was fun to be up and I went to be in Indiana with friends and family and a lot of alumni to celebrate. There was really special. Yeah. Beautiful. It's good.
Beautiful. That's awesome.
That's my story. Ron, I hope you watched the game, or at least cheered on IU.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I love that. And so my next topic here, I'm going to share about,
feelings versus facts.
Feelings versus facts, emotions versus facts. And so the other day I was interviewed for a podcast, and the guy says, well, there's a trend. Everybody's saying feelings aren't facts and emotions aren't facts. He says, are you in the same camp? And I said, well, yes and no.
Right.
Yes, it's true that they're not facts, but it doesn't mean that emotions and feelings should be diminished.
Right.
I said emotions and feelings are actually feedback.
Oh, that's good.
They're feedback. They're feedback for what's going on inside that's hidden, that we don't know, right? What is an emotion? We get hit by something and we can't even logically name it. Right. But all of a sudden, our body chemistry is backing it up with emotions and feelings, sadness, frustration, anger, irritation, envy, insecurity, all of these, self-doubt. Those are strong ones that we all have, right? And so when these things come up in my life, the way I've navigated them is that, again, they're feedback. And I've always seen it way my whole life. It's feedback. So it's giving me whatever the situation is that's triggering or activating me, is giving me a mirror,
right,
into a part of me that I haven't seen yet,
right,
for me to learn about, so that I can step into the like sports metaphors, the mastery, get the ball right, and I direct it right. Then I'm not the mercy of these emotions, but they are valid. They are communicating something.
Yeah. Well, and I think as you get old, I think the younger generation has a better handle of being more self-aware because they've had access to information. They're not afraid to ask. I think, what I see as trends among, especially women and 40s, 50s and beyond, we were taught not to question sometimes things. And, you're right. If feedback is feedback, it's a reaction, right? Communication is a two-way street. So yes, you might put out a fact, But
Mhm.
if you're reacting and you're getting some emotion, you need to ask yourself before you react, you need
Mhm.
to ask yourself, why? Why
Mhm.
am I, what's triggering this? Why am I in, why am I denial? Why am I fighting this fact?
Mhm.
Maybe I should ask more questions of myself or go, oh, let me learn more about this topic and this subject before I either dismiss it
Mhm.
because it doesn't align with my current belief, which is what happens, right? We
Yep.
see that the most
Yes.
I'm not even going to take that fact because it doesn't align with what I feel like I know
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
how I've been taught.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and so I just dismiss it. It just doesn't even like stick.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Exactly. And it's like for me, the journey to a fulfilling life is self-inquiry.
right.
Where I meet
Curiosity.
everything, where I meet
Curiosity.
everything, yeah, everything that comes my way, both the glorious and the amazing and the not so amazing. It's just an invitation. Everything is an invitation in life.
Right.
An invitation to know myself and an invitation to build relationship with life and myself,
Right.
with people, right? And like again, I said about the Hawaiian tradition, all wisdom doesn't come from one school, right? And so embodying that understanding when it comes to emotions, just because I don't understand what you're feeling doesn't mean it's not valid,
Right. And
right?
I don't and I should ask more questions. Like, well, where are you getting that? I have these. I think these conversations more of I call it in between the pews because I think there's Christianity has a brand problem. I
Mhm.
think there's nobody knows too many. I call it too many Jesuses that people
Right,
align themselves with. You've got the fear based, you've got
right.
the literal based,
Yeah, yeah,
um, but it gets muddied, and
yeah,
so then now people are battling of.
yeah,
Within it's like where is that belief based on, or and again as soon as you start getting the rhythm of, oh, so you've been taught the Bible is a weapon at your
yes,
convenience.
yes,
Let's talk about that.
yeah,
Let's uncover that more, and I think that helps them kind of uncover, oh, you mean that was an interpretation that was
yeah,
wrongly interpreted
yeah.
by,
Or just distorted.
distorted over time.
I would call it just an incomplete interpretation.
Yeah.
And most of us live our lives with incomplete interpretations
Oh,
because
yeah.
our emotions keep us locked in incomplete interpretations, incomplete stories. Hey, Danny,
Hey, Danny.
right? And so I thought that was an interesting
Oh,
topic
that
to
was
bring up,
interesting. Yeah.
right? Because any emotion is not just a single emotion.
No,
It's a combination. They're blends, like emotional cocktails. I like to
right.
call it, right? They're layered, they're confusing and overwhelming because they are coming from the invisible realm where we haven't yet seen consciously. They're in the
Right.
dark, right? So one of the metaphors I love is like when we're on this journey of life, right? For the most part, science says that 95% of our reactions are ruled by our unconscious mind, right? So this is the big
Ooh,
subconscious mind. Here's the conscious mind. This is what it usually is. As a metaphor, I call it the Pac-Man theory, right? So my subconscious mind will gobble my conscious mind unless I grow my conscious mind more so that my conscious mind can direct and navigate the unconscious
mhm.
mind. So I have
Yeah.
awareness in there, right? And so emotions actually offer us a map inside ourselves
Yeah.
to see things that we just otherwise wouldn't see without triggers. That's why I always say, master your triggers, master your life. I have a whole series on YouTube about that,
Mm,
right? Because the moment we master our triggers, that's when we stay in the driver's seat of our life. First of all, we're not hijacked by the emotions.
right.
We can use them to get to know ourselves and to get to know dynamics, right? And so there are a lot of, I wanted to share a few emotional combinations because I think this is pretty cool of,
Yeah.
of what they mean. Like say anger and anticipation at the same time. Anger plus anticipation can create aggression.
Okay. So Danny doesn't know what we're talking about. We need to give him a high level. We're talking about facts versus feelings, Danny.
Facts versus feelings, facts versus emotions.
That
And
that
giving
it's that emotions are still, it's feedback.
valid and their
Valid.
feedback. Their feedback to know ourselves and to know each other in relationships, especially because, like in relationship, what activates one feeling for me might not activate that for my partner, or
Right.
vice versa. And then there's loss in translations, right? So understanding the emotional landscape also helps us to communicate better, helps us to know each other better, and to be, you know, more sportsmanship in life, right?
Right.
Bringing into your Hoosiers, right? So there's a correlation there. It all kind of fits, right? So yeah, so future focused anger is trying to pre-protect the self,
Hmm.
right? And it often shows up as defensiveness or preemptive force. So
Wow.
with anger, just, you know, with anticipation, then even though anticipation could be a positive, but because anger is an element in there, it becomes something more destructive, right? Anger plus joy can be pride, equals pride,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
right? Anger that has been validated, right, becomes like a force,
Hmm.
and it becomes a prideful thing, right? And it can be healthy, it can be healthy self-respect, but it can go into ego as disguise,
Right.
right? Anticipation plus fear can equal anxiety, right? Future fear without presence. So being present in the moment is so important, to be able to be present with the emotions, not judge
Right.
them, not label them, not squish them or exile them. That say, like, again, my metaphor I've used for years is put on my Sherlock Holmes cap, my light, and let's go in there. Let's see what's putting this all together, right? So basically, Dr. Phil's show, welcome to therapy session. Yeah, Danny, absolutely. Yeah. So these are different emotional combinations. You know, fear plus sadness will equal despair. Yeah, totally. Because understanding ourselves is essential, right? So
Yeah.
fear, you know, so disgust and joy creates morbidness. So if you can see,
Right.
there's all these different combinations, right? Joy plus fear can create guilt.
Hmm.
Joy plus surprise, delight. Joy plus trust, love. So there's all these different myriads of ways that, you know, our emotions are communicating to us. But if I don't understand it, then all of a sudden I'm just going to have aggression, and I don't understand where it is. Then I have to say, well, where's that aggression coming from? Oh, there's a fear buried somewhere,
Right. Right.
right? I'm self-preserving for some reason. What am I self-preserving from? Right?
Hmm.
And the moment I turn inward and I ask that question, it already starts to transform, like the observer effect with quantum physics. The moment you look at something, you observe it, it changes. It's no longer what it was before we observed it, right? So emotions are not facts in themselves, yet they're meaningful. They're complex feedback from our internal world that is important to listen to and to validate. And even when we see a partner having an emotional whatever, to hold space and breathe rather than add fuel to the fire of judging them for it, or, you know, or
Right.
or cornering them for it, or making them feel bad for it. Because emotions are a way, it's like, I call it like the internal weather systems. We all
Yeah.
have rainbow days. We all have super sunny days. We all have thunder lightning days. We all have electrified days. You know, we all
Right.
have tsunamis. So when we can see emotions not as something to avoid, or they're bad, or they're dangerous, but as something to surf with, to find our way and say, okay, today's a rainy tsunami day. I'm going to stay inside.
Right.
You know, I'm just going to,
Let
you know,
me.
back down the hatches. And I'm not going to go there today, right? So when we start to know our own inner weather system, then we can, you know, navigate any situation with greater ease,
Mhm.
right? So
That makes sense.
especially when we're triggered in intention or unconsciously reacting, right?
Right.
So feelings and emotions, you know, they're proof that your fear is real. They're not proof that the fear is real in the external world. They're not proof, but they're showing you, I'm feeling fearful. But it doesn't
Yeah.
mean that what I'm feeling fearful of, what I'm perceiving, is real. Like a hose looking like a snake,
Right. Right.
something like that, right? And they're not a reason to judge ourselves, right? They alert us to unresolved parts of ourselves. They signal old patterns and survival strategies and unmet needs. And we all say we want love, right? We all say we want to be loved.
Hmm.
Well, for me, that's the path,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
When I know myself, and that's the path of loving myself. Loving myself isn't just pouring myself bubble baths and putting candles and eating a cupcake, right? Loving myself is knowing myself,
Yeah.
right? Knowing myself, and then as I do that, then I can know others as well, you know. So yeah, that was what I wanted to give a little
I think
conversation.
that's such a good lesson of just your emotions it's feedback. It's a data point.
I was about to say it's data. Exactly.
It's data that just needs to be, investigated and discovered further.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like there's 5 steps you can go into that. I'll share. Like first, 1, notice. Feel without judgment. I notice fear in my body right now. Pause, breathe.
Right.
Just be observant of it. Name it. Label the blend. This is fear plus anticipation. It's anxiety. It's turning into aggression. Breathe, feel, right? Allow the sensation without a story, without writing, well, it's because this or that, or well, they da 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 da. It's like, no, just just be with it, right? And so let the sensation, feel it. Allow the sensory story, right? Not the verbal story, but allow the felt sense story. But understand it's not the whole truth. This is just one piece of the pie. This is just one data point, right? And then inquire, what belief or wound is this pointing to? Or where am I being pressed out of my comfort zone because I'm afraid to be vulnerable? Because that's a big one.
Yeah.
Right? And then integrate to use this insight for healing. Now I know where I need compassion, curiosity, and change. So what's my next step? And so rinse, repeat. Yeah.
Well, it's all about getting alignment.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. And seeing our emotions are not enemies. They're actually our best friends, because the emotions arose because there were interruptions in our true nature and our true self, through loss, through trauma, through pain. So if we want to be our whole self, we got to know our emotions.
Right.
And so
but don't be afraid to dig further. Don't be afraid.
Exactly. And awareness doesn't remove the emotions. It just liberates us from being controlled by them. And that's the purpose, and we'll have emotions as long as we live. But are they running the show, or am I running the direction, right? And that's the key. Yeah.
I love it. This was such a good conversation.
Yeah, this was awesome.
I love it. Yeah.
And so we're gonna complete now. And
Did we do a voting? Who won the
voting,
Hall of Fame thing?
Yeah, the voting.
Who won? Oh, is it still going? Is the Great Escape still ahead? Ron? Is it up by 1? All right. Who's in second? Is it Sound of Music? I'm like, I need to vote. I haven't
done the vote yet. I should get my phone and scan the QR code myself right now so I can do that.
Mary Poppins, yeah. That's
let's scan that right now. There we go.
We're gonna do it. Everyone vote.
We're gonna do it.
RhodeIslandBroadcasting.net. Place your vote in. It's Sound of Music, Psycho, Mary Poppins, 2001: A Space Odyssey, or The Great Escape. Great Escape is in the lead. Mary Poppins is the close second. But vote for your favorite, all-time Hall of Fame movie. It's a hard one.
Thank you.
Hard one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard one. There's the hard choices there. Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for joining. Thank you, JJ. This was just an incredible, fun show again.
It's nice.
We're together.
Go Hoosiers.
Go Hoosiers. I'm going to watch Hoosiers. I'm going to watch that movie tonight.
You will. It's an inspiration. Yeah.
Well,
and then, just go do a Google on Fernando Mendoza to hear his speech, and you will fall in love with him.
Okay. Beautiful.
Make you cry.
Beautiful.
All right.
So everybody join us on Saturday with Luannah and Ron. They're going to be here. And Sunday is Ron and Kenny at 10 a.m. on all the days on Rhode Island Broadcasting, here on YouTube or any of the channels we've told you about already. And thanks for joining us, and wishing you a really incredible week. And embrace the paradox.
There you go.
Embrace the paradox.
Right. Nice to see you. Have a great day, great week.
You too, JJ. Cheers.
Bye, you guys.
Bye, everybody.